You have been told by the world to put on a brave face, to act the part you wish to play. And so you have tried. With all the sincerity you could muster, you have tried. You have written down your desires 100 times, hoping the ink would somehow make them real. You have repeated affirmations until your mind was numb, hoping the words alone held some magic. You have worn the mask of confidence while your heart trembled with fear. You have walked into a room and played the part only to return home at night to the deafening silence of your old familiar self. And you have wondered in the quiet of your own heart, why does this feel like such a struggle? Why does my performance feel so hollow? Why does the world, which I am told is a stage, not applaud my act? Tonight, I am here to tell you a truth that may startle you and may set you free. The reason your world does not respond is because it is not responding to your act, nor to your endless words. It is responding to the actor, and the actor deep down knows he is pretending. This very advice to simply act the part without first becoming it within is the great misunderstanding. It is the subtle poison that has kept your desires just beyond your reach. But there is another way, a way that requires no pretense, no forcing, a way not of faking, but of being. And tonight you will learn the profound difference. You will learn how to stop being an actor who desires a crown, and how to become the king who wears it naturally. To understand this profound difference, you must understand the difference between an actor and an heir. The actor studies the part of a king. He learns the lines. He mimics the posture. He wears the costume. But in his heart, he knows he is not a king. He is playing a role, hoping his performance is convincing enough to win applause. This is the path of faking it. It is a path of effort, of strain, and of constant inner conflict. The heir, however, does not need to act. He simply is one. He was born into it. The crown is his birthright, his confidence, his posture, his speech. They all flow naturally and effortlessly from his identity. This is the path of being it. The scripture warns us of the futility of being the actor. It speaks of those who are like whitewashed tombs, which outwardly appear beautiful, but within are full of dead men's bones. They perform all the outer rituals correctly, but their inner state, their consciousness, remains unchanged. Their prayer is not heard, for it is a hollow performance. You have been taught to be the actor, but I am here to tell you that you are the heir. The kingdom of heaven, the sum total of all fulfilled desires, is not something you must earn. It is your birthright. Therefore, your work is not to act rich, but to awaken to the identity of the one who is rich. Your work is not to pretend to be loved, but to naturally occupy the state of the one who is loved. Faking it is an outside-in approach. Being it is an inside-out approach. Do not go seeking for that which you already are. Claim it, assume it, for it is your birthright. This is the only way that truly works. So, how does one move from the strain of acting to the ease of being? The difference is not in the outer action, but in the inner conversation that accompanies it. Let us take a simple, practical example. Imagine you desire a new, beautiful motor car. The man who is faking it goes to the dealership. He sits in the driver's seat, he touches the fine leather, and his inner conversation is one of longing. He says to himself, oh, this is the car that I want. I wish this were mine. If I feel this hard enough, if I can just remember the texture of this leather, my visualization will be stronger, and the universe will have no choice but to give it to me. His every action is a petition, a prayer sent from a state of lack. He is an actor hoping the stage prop will one day become real. Now, the man who is being it does the exact same thing. He goes to the same dealership. He sits in the same seat, but his inner conversation is entirely different. He says to himself, so this is what my car feels like. The decision was a good one. It feels just as I imagined it. Do you see the profound difference? His action is not a petition. It is a confirmation. He is not trying to get the car. He is simply enjoying what is already his in imagination. He is an heir, inspecting his inheritance. Let us take another, more personal example. A woman who desires to be happily married enters a bridal shop to look at wedding gowns. If she enters as the actress, her inner conversation is one of hope and effort. She thinks to herself, I will act as if I am a bride to attract my wedding day. I must feel the beautiful fabric so the universe knows I am serious. Her every thought is a performance, an attempt to convince an outside power. But if she enters as the heiress, her consciousness is entirely different. Her inner conversation is one of quiet confirmation. She thinks, I am simply choosing the gown for my wedding. The decision to marry is already a fact in my mind. This is now the joyful part of selecting the details. The actor's state is one of hope, but the heir's state is one of knowing. The actor's feeling is one of desire. The heir's feeling is one of fulfillment. This is the art you must practice. In every moment, ask yourself, am I acting from the state of wanting or from the state of already having? Am I the actor begging for the part, or am I the director who knows the end of the play before it has even begun? Your work is to go within and assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled first. Feel yourself to be the person you want to be now. Then any outer action you take will not be an act of hope, but a natural, effortless movement from a state of knowing. That is the secret. Do not mistake what I have shared for a comforting philosophy. This is the very bedrock of reality, a law that has proven itself unfailingly to any soul who has had the courage to experiment. Let me tell you the story of an artist I knew, a man of tremendous talent, but of little recognition. His one great desire was to have his paintings displayed in a very prestigious gallery in a great city. For years he operated as the actor. He would visit the gallery, speak to the owner, plead his case, and show his work, only to be met with polite indifference. His outer actions were those of a hopeful artist, but his inner state, his concept of self, was that of a rejected one. Every rejection only confirmed his deepest fear that he was not good enough. One day, he grew tired of the struggle. He decided to stop all outer effort. He would no longer visit the gallery. He would no longer plead his case. Instead, he would do the real work. Every night he would stand in his studio, close his eyes, and conduct a new inner rehearsal. He was no longer a struggling artist, seeking recognition. He simply became, in imagination, a successful, celebrated artist whose work was in high demand. He went straight to the end. He imagined himself standing in that very gallery, not as a hopeful applicant, but as the featured artist of the evening. He used all his senses to make it real. He could hear the quiet murmur of the admiring crowd and the gentle clinking of glasses. He could smell the faint scent of polished wood floors. He could see the warm gallery light shining on his favorite painting, and next to it, a small red dot, signifying it had been sold. He could feel the smooth, cool glass of champagne in his hand, and most importantly, he could feel the deep, unshakable sense of quiet satisfaction, the inner peace of having finally arrived. He fell asleep night after night, saturated in this new identity. He did this for 1 month and did not lift a finger in the outer world. Then the gallery owner, who had for years ignored him, sought him out. He had a sudden feeling that he should look at the artist's work again. He came to the studio, was immensely impressed, as if seeing the work for the first time, and offered him a prominent exhibition. What had changed? Not the paintings. What changed was the artist. He stopped acting like an artist who wanted to be featured, and he simply became one in his own imagination. The world had no choice but to conform to his new concept of self. He did not fake it until he made it. He became it, and the world made it so. Herein lies the great misunderstanding that has held you captive. The world has taught you to be an actor, endlessly performing for a part you hope to one day be given. But your birthright was never to be the actor, begging for a role. It was always to be the heir, awaiting your inevitable inheritance. The actor seeks applause from the world outside. He is anxious for its approval. But the heir needs no validation. He knows the kingdom is already his. His satisfaction comes not from the applause, but from the deep inner conviction of his own identity. Henceforth, let this be your art. Stop performing for the world. Your only task is to go within, and in the profound silence of your own being, simply put on the royal garment of the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Wear the identity of the person you desire to be until it's no longer a costume, but your very skin. For that feeling, that quiet inner knowing, is the only proof you will ever need that you have come into your inheritance. And the world, that loyal and perfect servant, will have no choice but to bring forth the treasures of the kingdom that you have claimed from within. This is the only work there is to do. Now, let us go into the silence.